And welcome to the College Football Playoff National Championship game presented by AT&T. The Oregon Ducks and the Ohio State Buckeyes. From the first chosen four, two survivors, a very high-scoring semifinals in a matchup the old BCS system would not have given us. It would have been Alabama-Florida State. The Ducks and Bucks given the chance to show their championship medal. An historic geographic twist. Never had a true championship game between two northern teams. Oregon and Ohio State will break an 8-year hold on the title of teams in the Southeast. In fact, Ohio State's title in '02, the last time a northern team even won it. And welcome, folks, along with Kirk Herbstreit. I'm Chris Fowler. Tom Rinaldi and Heather Cox will join us. It's going to be a lot of fun, Kirk. I mean, college students have been colliding on football fields since Civil War Reconstruction. Only took a century and a half to get to this playoff game. We've got a matchup only this system could have produced, and a great win for the fans.
Yeah, you've been clamoring for it for a number of years, and it's here. It's reality. We've been speculating. We've wondered what it might feel like. We obviously had incredible semifinal games to get our two teams here. I think it's very fitting to have these two teams. Both have faced so much of adversity, going all the way back to camp for Oregon with some injuries. Same thing with Ohio State and Braxton Miller. And somehow, some way, they overcame it all, and now they're here playing for the national title.
So Jones, you look in his eyes tonight, you try to figure out how is he going to perform. Well, that running back is his best friend again tonight.
No doubt about it. Ezekiel Elliott in these last two games where Jones has stepped up. He's averaging 11 yards a carry. He'll be big tonight for Jones. Obviously a powerful runner, is able to get through arm tackles. The reason he's important is it takes the pressure off of any quarterback, but especially a quarterback that only has 2 starts and playing in this kind of game. You saw last week the arm strength of this young man. The way he can throw it downfield vertically will be tested tonight against Oregon. I think you'll see more of this from Jones. Oregon's determined to take away the deep ball. I think Cardale will have to be able to run. Here he is against Landon Collins, going right over top of an All-American safety. Oregon's defense these last few games, they've played much, much better. A lot more zone where they drop 3 guys, and they'll play 5 underneath, dropping 8 into coverage. Very tough to get the ball thrown downfield. You can ask Jameis Winston. Therefore, he's going to have to be more patient, throwing it underneath and running.
Never quite seen a story like Cardale Jones in college football. Can he cap it off, or is it going to be a reality check tonight? On the other side, you know what you're going to get at quarterback. You get Marcus Mariota, his poised and calm self, unless the Buckeyes can disrupt him. Kirk, we've seen guys run fast to this position. We've seen guys throw accurately. Never seen a guy do both as well. Swept all the awards, smashed records.
Amazing to watch him run this tempo offense, almost as if he's an offensive coordinator. So efficient, not making any mistakes. We'll see if he's able to continue that tonight.
Didn't even play his best game. And yet the offense scored 7 touchdowns to dethrone Florida State. Devin Allen, who's injured. Darren Carrington, ineligible for failing a drug test, out of there. So 78 catches that were in the Rose Bowl team, not there tonight. What can the Buckeyes defense do to slow down this offense?
Well, I think the big thing they have to do is take away the inside running game and try to get Marcus Mariota into some more obvious passing situations. If Oregon is dictating things to you and you're on your heels, it's going to be a long night. The way you slow them down is your defensive line. Michael Bennett, Adolphus Washington, Joey Bosa, Steve Miller, they've got to dominate the line of scrimmage to give the Ohio State team a chance defensively.
And here come the Oregon Ducks. Always fast and fashionable. White top, silver pants, and camo tights. The first of its kind. And no other big event really feels quite like this. A far less corporate crowd, Kirk, than we usually see. This is college football passionate fans in here tonight.
You can feel a buzz in the air. You know something special is about to occur.
These two head coaches are native sons of their states. Mark Helfrich from the little town of Coos Bay, also the hometown of running great Steve Prefontaine. Urban Meyer grew up in Ashtabula, Northeast Ohio. Of course, he has the more accomplished resume, 141 wins, the 2 national titles, including Florida over Ohio State. Helfrich was an assistant when the Ducks lost to Auburn in the championship game. And with Mark Helfrich is Heather Cox.
Thanks so much, Coach. You talked to your team quite a bit about not playing tight. Easier said than done. What is the key to not letting this moment be too big?
Yeah, talk about it, and confront it. And we just talk all the time about our process and the next step. And there's a bunch of stuff going on, but just focusing on what really matters is the key.
Your key wide receivers, Devin Allen and Darren Hallington, aren't available. How do you compensate for that loss tonight?
Our team, our team. We're not an offensive, defensive, special teams unit. We're a team, and there's a bunch of guys that can make plays. Now we have to, deal with the guys in scarlet and gray.
Coach, thank you. Enjoy it. Let's head over to Tom.
Heather, thank you, Urban. After the chase and the commitment and the preparation, you're finally here with your team. Why will you win?
I'm worried about kickoff right now. I got a great group of kids. I love them to death against a great team. College football is highest level right now.
Good luck to you tonight.
Thanks, man. Let's go.
He says it with a smile, Kirk, with the typical Urban Meyer intensity. And he's been working with, along with Tom Herman, Cardale Jones, to get his head in the right place for this championship game. Kyle Clinton, the 5th-year senior from Dublin, to kick it off and begin this first championship game of the playoff era. True freshman Charles Nelson, the lone deep man for the Ducks at his goal line. Nelson will not test the Piranhas kickoff coverage team of Ohio State. They are excellent. And so here comes Marcus Mariota, almost certainly his final college game. The only Heisman winner ever from the state of Hawaii, Kirk. It's been very, very hard to rattle and ruffle him in his career.
Yeah, absolutely. And one of the things that he tries to establish early in this game is if they can pick up that first down, especially with the pressure that's in the air right now on both of these teams, they're going to try to exploit Ohio State because of that anxiety early, but they've got to get that first down in order to do that.
Ohio State's been a very fast starting defense this year. 6 3-and-outs in opponents' first possessions and 4 interceptions. They come ready. They fake it to Thomas Tyner, throw it near side. Catch made by Byron Marshall, and a nice gain for the Ducks on the first play.
Yeah, nice easy throw for Marcus and for the offense. Again, Ohio State, it's a numbers game for them. They're trying to get lined up. How many do they have committed to the run? How many do they have committed to the pass?
2nd down, another completion and a first down across the 40-yard line. Von Bell on the tackle, but the Ducks quickly move the chains. It's Marshall again. Now they'll really get fast.
Yeah, now they'll go faster. Quick play action. They'll freeze the linebackers and safeties. Makes it an easy throw out to the edge.
Tyner trying to pick his way. Cuts it back. Darren Lee, the fine freshman linebacker, on the stop.
And again, I think, Mariota gets the attention, but Tyner and Freeman are going to be the big factor because they complement what he does so well.
2nd and handoff. Tyner again breaks free, loses the ball. It bounced right back to him. A lucky break for the Ducks, who pick up another first down, but just dodge a fumble.
Yeah, the fumble, but look at the hole that he's running through. And I think a defender just, as he's getting blocked there, he just kind of backhanded the ball. I think it was Michael Bennett got a hand on it and knocked it free. But a big hole there for Tyner to run through.
Tyner again, setter set, shows the power. This is a guy that had a big Rose Bowl after missing the 3 previous games with a shoulder injury.
Yeah, season high 124 yards. He almost tried to check himself out, but by staying out there, they can get their tempo going again that much faster without substitutions.
They fake it to Freeman, pitch it far side. Catch made, and trying to make a man miss is Nelson, who does have a first down. And Floridian finally stopped by Von Bell, but they'll move the chains.
Believe it or not, that's his 3rd option. He had a dive that he came out of because of Joey Bosa coming down. Then that's the old days in the option game where you pitch it. Now you just throw it out to a wide receiver.
Freeman. Heavy traffic in the middle, and he's hit by Curtis Grant.
Now the windows get tighter. It's not as easy to move the ball down in these areas in the red zone. Ohio State will get a little bit more aggressive, willing to take a few more chances with their backs up now to their own goal line.
Second and 8. They fake it to Nelson. Mariota keeping all the way. Rolls around the right side and lowers the shoulder. Should have a first down inside the 10.
Does a nice job following the right guard, Cameron Hunt. And I'll tell you, we know about his speed. That time he just lowered his shoulder to pick up that first down.
Mariota still got it. Pressure. Now gets away. Flings it for a touchdown. Caden Lowe puts the Ducks on top.
It's a great job of improvising by Marcus Mariota. The play that was designed was covered, and Von Bell, the safety, lost his man.
Will they go for 2? They'll typically do this. Taylor Ailey is the third-string quarterback and the holder. They'll see if the opponent's ready for it. The Buckeyes look ready.
Yeah, after last week against Florida State, that's something I'm sure Urban Meyer and his staff got their group ready for. So they come back in to kick the PAT.
With their freshman from Portland, Aiden Schneider. Ducks dodge disaster in that opening drive. Kirk could have had 2 turnovers, but instead up 7-0. They go 75 yards.
And 11 plays, under 3 minutes, 2:39 to the left. You'll see number 11, Von Bell. He lost his man. He got caught up looking in the backfield. There's a great look at it right there. He's got a man. He's got a cover. He sees Mariota starting to take off. He leaves his man, and Mariota does a great job of locating the open man who's been left by Von Bell and puts the ball in there for the touchdown. Let's take a look at tonight's plan for success, brought to you by Northwestern Mutual. Tonight for Oregon, inside running game to complement Mariota in the quick passing strikes. Win the turnover margin. They're the best in the country. They need to get the ball back to Marcus Mariota. For Ohio State, it's Ezekiel Elliott. Take the pressure off of Cardale Jones. And the way Oregon defends, that'll be very important. We already seen it tonight. Ohio State, not just the interior, but on the outside. They've got to do a good job of setting the edge and not letting the running backs of Mariota get outside.
Matt Logan to boot it away. And the freshman Curtis Samuel takes a knee. So Cardale Jones comes at Kirk already down 7-0. That's what Helfrich was hoping for. Can they confuse this guy? Can they test his patience?
Yeah, they want to put pressure on him, and he's obviously coming in with a ton of confidence. Hasn't played a lot of football. Started the Big Ten championship game against Wisconsin. Played well. Played even better last week in the Sugar Bowl against Alabama. He and Ezekiel Elliott will be the key. A combination of the vertical passing game and also the tough inside running and outside running of Elliott.
Elliott is behind the 6'5", 250-pound sophomore from Cleveland. They give it to the sophomore from St. Louis in a short gain.
Interesting, Oregon's defensive strategy. They basically, coming into this game, they respect Elliott and his powerful running game. This offensive line has improved as much as any unit, arguably in the country. That first snap, they had a lot of white jerseys stacked at that line of scrimmage, begging Ohio State to throw.
Elliott's the guy who romped for 230 against Alabama, Sugar Bowl record. Jones, a second down throw. He can run it. And he scoots out of bounds across the 30, just short by about 4 yards of a first down.
Good decision, but a little bit of pressure there from Oregon. And if you're watching some of these individual players, watch DeForest Buckner, number 44. He's 6'7", 290. And Eric Armstead, number 9, 6'8", 290. Both the defensive ends, they can match up physically very well with Ohio State, and they have to have a great game.
First third down of the game. Elliott motioned out. Jones feels the pressure, escapes, lowers his head, and powers for a first down. That's when the 250 pounds come to bear.
6'5", 250. Remember last week against Alabama, he made similar decisions. 4 different times on third down, he did this. He saw coverage downfield, and he had to pick up first downs. Quite a collision there with the middle linebacker, Hardrick, but he overpowers him and picks up the first down.
Rolls on play action, fires it far side into traffic. Catch made. Jalen Marshall. Well covered by the safety Dargan, but the Buckeyes are moving now.
Yeah, now they're trying to attack downfield. That's where their quarterback, Cardale Jones, feels most comfortable. It's actually pretty good coverage. It's a wheel route from Jalen Marshall. The safety, Dargan's right with him, but he didn't turn around to find the football. Marshall did, and he came up with a catch.
Back-to-back 26-yard gains. Elliott. It's pretty tough going with a sophomore in the early going.
Go back and look at this last play, that 26-yard gain. It's a wheel route. You have a very talented wide receiver
what a catch.
Catching that off the back of Dargan. As I said, Dargan never knew the football was in the air. He was with Marshall stride for stride, but he didn't read the eyes of Marshall and get his head turned around.
2nd and 9. Jones pressured again. Strong enough to get away. Loops it for Elliott. A high throw, a dangerous play because Tyson Coleman was closing in.
Boy, Don Pelham is doing a heck of a job when Ohio State is throwing the football. Mixing up the pressures, mixing up the looks, trying to confuse not only the quarterback, but also put some pressure on the offensive line. And here he gets pressure from Hardrick, and then he just kind of says, where's my outlet? Oh, yeah, over here. And throws it. He's very lucky that Coleman, instead of going for the receiver, he didn't try to step in front of it and catch it.
Another 3rd and long. They only rush 3. Jones tries to get it on the ground. Hammered just short of the first down at the 35 by Hardrick. So 4th and 2.
Remember in our meeting when we asked him, what's the key against an 8-man dropping type of defense where they take away a lot of the windows? And he said, Cardale Jones told us, my feet and my check down to my running back. We've seen that in the last 2 passes where he tried to check down to Elliott. This time he tried to run, and it sets up the 4th down.
About 2.5 yards needed. Hot pass. Marshall fighting for it. It's close. Where's that ball? Right on the yellow line. Looks like Ohio State has converted.
And we asked him in that meeting, you get into these 4th downs at 4-down territory when you're about to get to that 30-yard line, 35-yard line, and he said, hey, we're an aggressive team. That's kind of our nature.
Both sides unafraid to go for 4th downs. So Ohio State's already moved 64 yards from the shadow of their end zone. It's Curtis Samuel, the true freshman, to the right of Jones now. Jones again steps up to avoid pressure, loops it over the head of Samuel, who came out of the backfield. He is not getting much time to think back there.
No, not at all. And again, it's because Don Pelham is doing a great job of mixing up looks. He's blitzing, but he's playing zone behind it. So he's only theoretically rushing 4, and sometimes this case he's rushing 5, but it's affecting the communication along the offensive line. And then you add in the quickness and how quickly they're getting upfield, putting a lot of pressure on that Ohio State offensive line in the passing game.
Elliott breaks free. Ezekiel Elliott gets a block and busts to the end zone. The final 33 yards of a 97-yard Ohio State touchdown drive. And the man who ripped up Bama off to a slow start here until that run, Kirk. It was Jalen Marshall by the nose of a football, prolonging the drive.
That was the big play. This keeps the drive alive. But watch the block by Nick Vanette, 81. Boom, right there. A trap opened up the middle. And when you give Elliott a little bit of room to get to that second level, he not only has the power, he's got the speed and quickness and great feet to get into the end zone and tie this game up for Ohio State.
Mariota back to work. We're all even in Arlington. This is Nelson. He dropped that pass earlier on 3rd down, tries to get wide. Very tough to do against a fast coverage team like Ohio State, but Nelson did actually get the corner. Got to the 17. Got the first down. Mariota keeps it at the last minute, flipped it to the edge to Bayless, but Tyvis Powell was ready for it.
And again, this is his option. So the dive, he takes it. The dive is taken away. This is his pitch back, the old-fashioned option game. But instead, he just throws it down, throws it out to the tight end. In some cases, it'll be a wide receiver. They're just trying to. It's a yin and yang game. Are you too many defenders inside? I'll flip it outside. Are you going to give me the inside? I'll take the inside. It's all about the numbers for Oregon.
Freeman hitting the backfield. Adolphus Washington beat the block. It's the first negative play for Oregon. It'll set up 3rd and long.
Luke Fickell's answer is blitz. Raekwon McMillan, the true freshman, comes from the right. You're also going to see Darren Lee, who heads there for the quarterback. Very aggressive on this series from the Ohio State defense, bringing more pressure.
Mariota flips it downfield, has a man wide open who drops it. Dwayne Stanford was backpedaling in Ohio State territory. The second 3rd down drop for the Ducks in the quarter.
Yeah, and not only that, Adolphus Washington, this is what that tempo can do to you. He's trying to get off the field. If Mariota would have snapped the ball quicker, there would have been 12 defenders on the field for Ohio State. But Stanford, who's from Cincinnati, Ohio, high school teammates with Washington, drops a huge play for the Oregon offense. The second drop tonight on 3rd down.
So Wheeler again. And Jalen Marshall at his 35. Marshall fields it, hit immediately. It spins free. Jalen Marshall still running across midfield. Showing the versatility. And he sets up the Buckeyes in plus territory.
Young man was a high school quarterback in Middletown, Ohio. An unbelievable option quarterback. A lot of versatility. He's moved to receiver. This gives you an idea what he can do with a football in his hands. That's why they try to get him the ball as many times as they can. Get him in space, get him on special teams. He's physical. He's not just quick. He can pull out of tackles, and that's an example of it right there.
Elliott. Nice gain inside the 40.
That last drive, they had 3 plays of 25 yards or more. So it was the big play, not just the Elliott touchdown, but we saw a couple throws from Jones for the first time we've seen him get on track. What was more impressive is the poise that he plays with. He's backed up inside his own 5-yard line and led them on a 10-play, 97-yard touchdown drive.
Jones on 2nd and 4, flips it near side to Michael Thomas. And Thomas knocked down, but not before gaining 1st down yardage at the 33.
And Cardale Jones takes a page out of Marcus Mariota. He's got 3-on-2. So he gets out of the run game. This is a tag where he can just throw it out there and rely on one of his skill players to be able to pick up yards after the catch. 3 receivers against 2 defenders because Oregon's crowding that line, worried about Elliott. He recognizes it, flips it out there, and picks up a 1st down.
As Elliott takes the handoff, barrels free again. Zeke Elliott down near the goal line.
We talked in the open about the biggest key in this game was going to have to be the Ohio State running game and Zeke Elliott. This time he follows a couple of his linemen, Elfine and also Billy Price, and follows them and picks up huge yards.
On 1st and goal, Jones bobbled the snap, now fires far side. Bennett, touchdown Ohio State.
Just the end of this play to make sure he broke the plane. The ball breaks the plane right there. A touchdown and the right call downstairs.
Junior from Westerville, Ohio. Vanette's 5th touchdown reception. Jones came close to losing that snap. So eager to get this play off. So Ohio State fell down an early 7-0 hole with a 97-yard drive. followed by a 46-yard four-play touchdown drive set up by the punt return. Clemson to boot it away. They'll typically boot it to that left quarter. This one's so deep there'll be no return. So 2 Ducks drops on third down have been massive. Mariota's only 2 incompletions. Two-back look. Tyner and Freeman flanking Mariota. This is Tyner. Buckeyes got a chance to get a breather, but Mariota fakes it and gets to the edge. He fooled the Buckeyes defense and then flashed the speed.
Well, Ohio State was in position. Steve Miller went down on the dive, and Eli Apple was there to make the tackle. It's one thing, again, to draw it up. It was perfectly designed by Luke Fickell, but Eli Apple's got to try to make a tackle on the Heisman winner.
Freeman barrels ahead, fights forward to the 45. It'll be 3rd and a yard. Yeah, it doesn't quite look the same on the practice field compared to number 8 in real life, and defense after defense has found out. Mariota has protection, throws into traffic, and it's incomplete. Tyvis Powell broke it up. Byron Marshall wanted a flag. There isn't one.
It's a heck of a play by the safety, Powell. Ohio State electing to sit back and play zone, rushing 4, trying to play some zone. They've got some defenders underneath there. Looked like that's the reason Marshall came up frustrated, is he felt that right arm. Yeah, the right arm hooked Marshall.
Marshall, nice return last time, takes it at the 25, gets the edge again, and tight ropes along the far sideline. Ohio State wanted a late hit flag, and they won't get one. Nice to have a 7-point cushion and the ball if you're Cardale Jones. Ohio State gets possession with the lead for the first time as the first quarter wraps up. Ducks were sharp early, but some execution problems after that, and 2 Ohio State touchdown drives. End of 1 in Arlington. Jones rolls out, thought about looking downfield, dumped it short, but it's off the hands of Bennett.
I don't think we can do a good enough job of describing what this Ohio State team has faced. Braxton Miller, a 4-year starter, one of the front runners for the Heisman Trophy 12 days before the season. You go to a guy named J.T. Barrett, he's never taken a snap. He becomes a Heisman candidate. He goes down in the Michigan game. And then Cardale Jones, who hadn't really taken a snap, plays these last 3 games. It is remarkable.
Barrett gets his cast off this week. He's a native Texan, deprived of a chance to play in his home state by that injury against Michigan. 3rd down. Jones again has space and motors into Ducks territory for a first down.
Boy, he recognized this and he took it. He was able to break contain. They did not do a good job of keeping him in the pocket. Instead of just kind of easing his way outside of the pocket, he sees it and he knows it's 3rd and 7. This is again the awareness, the recognition for an inexperienced quarterback, picks up the first down.
And the Ducks, kings of cashing takeaways into points, get nothing from those back-to-back fumbles for Ohio State. Jones now backpedaling. Chased by Buckner and just throws it away.
Well, Oregon recognized empty and brought pressure. That's a check from that Oregon defense and Don Pelham.
It's a big man chasing a big man too.
Eventually those 2 are going to meet tonight at some point, because you're right. Buckner at 6'7", 290, and Jones at 6'5", 250. That's a heck of a collision. But a good adjustment there by Oregon late. Empty, only 5 in to block, and they brought pressure.
Marshall motions in. They hand it to him, but the Ducks invade the backfield, drop him for a 2-yard loss. Danny Mattingly, who's a backup linebacker, helped make the play.
You're right. Mattingly does a good job of shooting through here. He's going to come right here, and he's going to come downhill. Doesn't hesitate at all. Sees it, reads the keys, shoots through that offensive line. Elliott didn't have a chance on that play.
So it's the Ducks defense turn to try to rise up and negate good field position for the Buckeyes, who need 12 on this 3rd down. Jones steps up, fires downfield. Devin Smith is open and makes the catch at the 5.
lined up on the left side. He's going to come right through here. A heck of an adjustment here by Cardale Jones. You know about him scrambling. Here, he keeps his eyes downfield. He sees Smith getting the separation, and I love that he threw it all the way away from Daniels to allow Smith to run underneath that, and that's a heck of an effort by Devin Smith in concentrating, going up, and making that catch.
Cardale and JT Barrett says the one rule: never underthrow Devin Smith. Always give him a chance to go out and run for the ball. On 1st and goal, quarterback keeps it and gets inside the 5.
Hope he didn't hurt his 27 yard per catch average here. But this is just a good job by a receiver, trusting his quarterback's arm strength, realizing he can make that play. Boy, Daniels came so close to getting a hand on that ball and knocking it away, but the strength of Smith and the concentration allowed him to come up with it.
There's only 2 catches against Bama, 47 and 40 yards. That was for 45. Under center. The sneak. Second effort. Spins into the end zone. And Cardale Jones has given the Buckeyes a 2-touchdown lead.
Oregon stopped him initially. I think they knew obviously what was coming, and initially he stopped. But the spin and then that second effort gets him in there for the touchdown.
Ohio State surviving fumbles on their 2 previous drives. Drives 49 yards in 6 plays. And the Ducks, after scoring first, the kings of the quick scoring runs, watch the Buckeyes put up 21 straight.
You got to go back to the play. The big throw by Jones on the move, throwing that ball downfield away from the defender Daniels. A heck of a catch to set up this touchdown. They came back on 3rd down. It didn't count on the 2nd down, but this time Jones takes it in for the touchdown.
Comfortable inside, especially for the folks in scarlet and gray. Touchdown drive puts the Ducks at their biggest deficit of the season. With Ohio State getting the football to begin the second half, a fairly crucial 4:49 to go in the second quarter, Kurt.
It's a big drive. Big drive for Mariota to try to get back to having that rhythm and that tempo that we saw in that first drive.
Buckeyes will typically only play on the left half of the field when they kick it off. And once again, a touchback. Mariota on 3rd down, over the middle, and a catch made, a tough one by Dwayne Stanford. Little piece of redemption for the earlier drop, a big conversion to the 46.
And he does a great job of settling down there and making a heroic catch after the drop that he had earlier.
Got 28 on that 11, and they're playing quickly. This is Tyner muscling forward. Remember this play if the Ducks get back in it.
He settles down in the zone and then goes up in the air knowing that a safety is going to lower the boom, holds on to the ball. Great job by Dwayne Stanford.
And now the challenge, Kirk. 12 seconds after the big gain, they snapped the first down play. Ohio State thought they had him stopped. Mariota over the middle, Marshall again. And he got away from Perry, the linebacker, inside the 30.
You take that matchup all day. Marshall, former running back, lined up against Perry. One-on-one coverage. 250-pound linebacker can't stay with Marshall in space.
Tempo again. Freeman again. Now inside of 2 minutes before halftime. Can the Ducks get 7, cut into the lead before giving the ball back to the Buckeyes to start the 3rd quarter?
Very important they finish this drive with a touchdown for Oregon, not just to get back into the game. Remember, last time they were down here, they got stopped inside that 2-yard line.
Freeman picks his way inside the 10. It'll be 3rd down.
That is a heck of a battle going on in the inside between the Oregon offensive line, the interior of the Ohio State defensive line, and those linebackers. It's going to be a long 4 quarters for that group.
Again, you'd figure 2 plays to get the 4 yards?
I would, yeah.
Mariota's got it, flips it, bad throw. Misfire to Bayless, who was pretty open in the flat, and it's 4th down.
Yeah, you don't see that very often because of the way that play unfolded. Now you're going to take the points. If they would have been able to pick up maybe a couple, then maybe you go for it. But Marcus Mariota had his tight end open, and he just missed it.
Missed him by a lot.
Yeah.
And the Ducks haven't played from 2 touchdowns behind, so a different position for the Heisman Trophy winner, as Aiden Schneider, the freshman from Portland, is very accurate in short field goals, doesn't try any long ones, knocks it through. The majority of fans in here in scarlet and gray on their feet and roaring. Ohio State up 11 at halftime, and they will get the football to begin the second half. AT&T bringing us inside the headset. Let's go down to Tom.
Chris, thank you very much. It's easy to forget your quarterback is making his 3rd start ever. How would you assess his play in the first half national title?
The difference is, and this is Oregon's deal now, and we got to go really rally him up, hydrate him up, and go play a great second half of football.
How have you been so effective defensively against their pace?
We're tackling. We're tackling, and you look at some of the great plays that they've had on the pass. People aren't tackling, so we just got to. This is it. This is the whole deal right here. How we prepare at second half, adjust the second half.
Good luck, Coach. Appreciate it. Let's go to Heather.
Tom, thank you. Oregon facing its largest deficit of the season. Coach, what has been your greatest challenge offensively?
Well, offensively, was not playing very cleanly. Had a couple big drops there early that were key, and a couple 3rd down conversions and won a huge play. And they've made a couple, as advertised, unbelievable catches in one-on-one situations. And they're able to just control the line of scrimmage and launch and making some great plays. And we just have to play, more cleanly on both sides. We're really close to getting home in the pass rush and really close on a couple coverages, but really close gets you 21-10.
Coach, thanks for your time. Chris, back to you.
You can tell Urban Meyer, Kirk, will tell his guys it's a 60-minute game. Do not let up against the Ducks, who are down 11 to Ohio State. End of the first half here in Arlington. Stay tuned after these messages for the Buick Halftime Report. Buckeyes earned the way here with their largest comeback in about 25 years, a 28-zip run over Alabama, and now protect an 11-point halftime lead after a 21-zip run over the Oregon Ducks, and they'll get the football to begin the 3rd quarter here.
Well, it's been a balanced attack from Ohio State, and it's the way it's really been the last 3 weeks in their games with Cardale Jones in there. He started off a little bit slow, and then he really settled in. And let's look at tonight's All-State good hands play, and it really has a lot to do with his maturity. 8 defenders in coverage. They're taking away a lot of his options, so what does he do? He shows patience, which is the question. Could he do that as an inexperienced quarterback? He sure has. He's put his he's taken off a number of times and picking up some big yards. And here's another example. This time, instead of taking the yards, he extends the play with his athletic ability and then finds Devin Smith with his eyes downfield to make another vertical throw, something that Oregon, if they're going to have any chance of coming back and winning this game, they've got to take away the running game and get aggressive in trying to stop Zeke Elliott because of that balance.
Ducks got the 2 takeaways, and they got their way here by outplaying Florida State in the red zone of the Rose Bowl. But red zone execution from Mariota and company not very good so far.
Yeah, I mean, as bad as it felt for Oregon, down 11 right now, twice down deep inside Ohio State territory. At the end of the half where he missed the tight end Bayless, and they just settled for the field goal. And remember, as you said, Chris, they had it down inside the 2-yard line and got stopped on that big 4th down. So if they came away with touchdowns in the red zone, we knew that would be important. It would be a different game right now, but they've been unable to execute.
Matt Wogan to kick it away. Curtis Samuel at the goal line. And it'll be a touchback to Tom Rinaldi. Tom?
Chris, as impressive as Cardale Jones has been on the field, his demeanor has been just as consistent often. He's gone to the same place on the bench with the same expression on his face, regardless of whatever happened in the previous drive, whether it produced a touchdown or a turnover. It's something that Jones has worked very hard on. As offensive coordinator Tom Herman said, he does not let bad things spiral. He simply keeps playing, whether that's false bravado or not knowing any better. He's grateful that he puts bad plays behind him and just moves him forward, Chris.
You know, Tommy, I recognize after some of these drives him going down the bench as well and talking to the offensive linemen and some of the skill players.
Amazing after a 3rd game to do that. Elliott breaks free. Zeke Elliott out across the 45.
It's a counter play where he follows the right guard, Pat Elfine, and Jeff Hireman, the tight end. 2 perfect blocks, and then also a great effort there by Michael Thomas, the receiver. But watch him follow the guard and the tight end. It opens it up perfectly, and there again, you give Zeke Elliott a little bit of room to work with. He is a big back with incredible acceleration.
Yeah, he's played more games than Archie Griffin and Eddie George and Keith Byers, but he's having one of the most productive seasons ever for an Ohio State back. Jones escapes and dives across midfield. They're trying to tackle Cardale Jones high, and it's not working well.
He didn't recognize this blitz, but he's able, because of his strength, to make it work. Now watch the blitz come late. You see how he didn't see it. He was going to go to the right and then come back left. And Tony Washington did a very nice job of disguising. Big part of Oregon's defense is disguising and then waiting to bring the pressure until very late. But Jones adjusts and still picks up yards.
He's got 53 on the ground to go with his 171 passing. So this is Elliott marshaling forward for another first down.
I mean, Zeke Elliott is the key to the offense, especially with J.T. Barrett down. Just complements the passing of Jones and the arm strength and the skill of these wide receivers. Not only we talk so much about Devin Smith with Michael Thomas and Jalen Marshall. That offensive line, boy, Ed Warner, the offensive line coach, has done a remarkable job with those guys up front, from the Virginia Tech game to where they are now.
Massive improvement. And Elliott, whose mom and dad were Missouri athletes, made the choice to go from St. Louis to Ohio State. Known as a goofball by his teammates. Kind of a happy-go-lucky guy, but he's all business on the field. Take it to Elliott. Pressured again. Delivers. Complete. And now a fight for the ball. The Ducks, did they take it away again? Yes! Marshall was right there with Danny Mattingly.
I think Rodney Hardrick got in there, the linebacker. Or is that, you're right, Mattingly. Boy, oh boy, Chris, again, they come up with a stop. Another turnover to get the ball back to Mariota. They've done it all year. Lead the nation.
You said they give up a ton of yards. They backpedal, but they do this.
The ball's right into the arms of Marshall, and it just goes right out of his hands. And Mattingly, not giving up on the play, is right there, the freshman out of Spokane, Washington.
It will go as an interception for Jones, but that's on Marshall. Mariota has good protection, loops it downfield, and Marshall is wide open and running free. They will not catch him. It can happen so quickly for the Ducks. 70 yards on the first play of the second half for Oregon.
That's why we talk about the importance of playing 60 minutes. That's why Urban Meyer was so frustrated with that turnover. A chance to potentially put more points on the board. The turnover, and this time the Ducks do what they've done all year. Third in the nation with points off of turnovers. This time they capitalize.
10 seconds it took to cover 70 yards. You said they're the quick strike kings, the cash in takeaway kings, and suddenly it's a 4-point game.
You've got a tight end in Bayless that's going to go here. You've got a receiver here that's going to freeze this young man. And then you've got the safety who ends up getting exploited here. He gets caught up in looking at the tight end. And when he moves with the tight end, it opens up a nice crease right behind him, in between the corner, Grant, and the safety, Tyvis Powell. So they use the tight end, Bayless, to get the eyes affected by Tyvis Powell, and it opens up a vertical seam. And Marcus Mariota knew exactly where he wanted to go with the ball. That play was designed to get the ball specifically to Byron Marshall, who, by the way, is starting to have a pretty good night. We wondered which receiver would step up with Carrington and Allen down. He now has 7 receptions and 146 yards and a touchdown.
Complexion changing very quickly, Heather. But the Ohio State offense, Kirk, has really only stopped itself. The Ducks have they've taken the ball away 3 times, but they haven't stopped progress down the field.
That's right, and we'll see. This is where the game's going to start getting interesting, because this is where you, as a staff, you have a pretty good feel for how the defense is trying to stop you. Now the adjustments have been made throughout the first half, and especially at halftime, and now it comes down to execution. We've seen both these offenses struggle at times with their own mistakes, whether it's been a turnover or a penalty.
Cardale Jones has been so calm. New father, his daughter Chloe, born a couple of months ago, the youngest of 6 from a very tough part of Cleveland, Ohio. Nothing that he's done has surprised him, Kirk. Everybody else may have been surprised. He expected this when he signed with Ohio State. In fact, he thought it might happen a little bit sooner.
Yeah, he won the job, the backup job behind Braxton Miller out of spring.
Give it back to Elliott. And this has been a huge part of Ohio State's offense. They have not been able to stop Elliott.
And we knew coming in that was going to be the key. Does a nice job here. That offensive line doing a good job of sustaining their blocks. And they're pulling either big tight ends or you're seeing tackles come around. We've seen Jeff Hireman, Nick Vanette, Taylor Decker, Darrell Baldwin having a hard time locating Elliott. I think he'll take a shot here against man.
Yep. Jones backpedaling, loses the ball. It's out in a scrum over there. Oregon has recovered the first disastrous play for Cardale Jones. Eric Armstead jumped on the ball. Tyson Coleman knocked it loose. He should have thrown it away.
Absolutely, trying to keep it alive. He's had so much success doing that, Chris, but once he's outside of the pocket, he's got to just get rid of the football. The ball maybe just came out of his hand.
What is it with the self-fumbles against Oregon's defense? Jameis Winston fell down, dropped the ball.
Yeah, the ball just came out of his hand.
But we've seen this 2 games in a row against Oregon's defense.
It looked like from the first shot that Coleman might have had an impact on the play, but he's just fighting to try to make something happen. The ball just came out of his hands. The 4th turnover now for Ohio State.
And the Ducks suddenly in a position to perhaps reclaim the lead. Marshall decides to take it wide. It's a block from Freeman on the edge. Such a challenge to play this offense in a sudden change defensive mode.
And a different look with 2 running backs in that backfield. Not Freeman, but also Marshall, who's a receiver, but a guy who went over 1,000 yards last year. And it's a good changeup and a good look to be able to change the vantage point for these linebackers and safeties.
Freeman has a first down. Wow. Jalen Marshall bobbling the ball, madly in the pit. A 1-play touchdown drive. And now Cardale Jones just drops the ball. 4 turnovers for Ohio State.
And Mariota has a tempo going. He's trying to strike.
2-back look again. Tyner had nowhere to run. Pushing the pile backwards was Bosa and Bennett.
It's a pretty good job there by Bennett and Bosa, just getting separation and getting upfield. It's the most turnovers we've had in a championship. Going back to 03 and 05, Ohio State already 4 tonight.
Hurricanes against Ohio State.
Yeah.
Bucks back in the red zone again. Mariota's got it. Follows a block and accelerates down near the 5. He'll be 2 yards short of a first down.
That's a design play to get him on the edge of this defense. He has such acceleration coming off of that mesh point with Tyner. Gets around the corner, picks up a block by Freeman. Gives him a chance here now on 3rd and 4.
It's been a huge struggle on 3rd down tonight. Just 2 of 8. Mariota loops it in the end zone. Out of bounds. Bayless went up high for it. Buckeyes, Apple and Bell were right there to shove him out of bounds. 4th down.
He wanted Byron Marshall, who was in motion out in the flat, but was taken away by Josh Perry, so he had to come all the way back. A dangerous throw, but he gets it in there to Bayless, and he is pushed out of bounds by Eli Apple.
Very, very alert play by the freshman from New Jersey. So Helfrich will go for a short field goal attempt from Aiden Schneider.
And another red zone. It's not a touchdown for Oregon.
He's from 23. It was good earlier from 26. just slides it in that right upright. So Ohio State's defense prevents a go-ahead touchdown, forces a field goal, but it's a one-point game. How will Jones respond after this miscue? We'll find out. Pretty cool inside the windows of AT&T Stadium. Our aerial coverage provided by Goodyear. Whether you're going for it from a few yards out or from miles away, go with a tire with superior performance. Goodyear, more driven. There's been a lot of going for it tonight on both sides. Now Kirk, as the Ducks kick it off down just 10 quick points in the first part of this third quarter. How does Cardale Jones, who Tom mentioned has shaken off mistakes pretty well in his brief career, how does he handle that one?
Well, that's when, as a play caller, Tom Herman's got to look to see what he's most comfortable with to try to get him back into that rhythm that he was in earlier and his offense was in earlier.
Hogan's boot is a touchback.
It's very interesting to see how Cardale Jones responds to that last play when he was out on the field.
Elliott cuts it back and plows forward. Nice first down game. Tom, what's the reaction over there to the Buckeyes sidelines?
Chris, you talk about how Cardale Jones will respond. Interesting exchange with him and Urban Meyer along the bench. He came off the field. Meyer asked him what happened. Jones simply said, "What happened?" Jones simply said, "The ball fell out of my hand." Went, sat back down on the bench, seemed to forget it right away. It seemed Meyer was more dispirited by what happened and lingered in the moment longer than Jones did. We'll see how he responds now. Next series back, Chris.
Tom, this will be the time we'll find out if he's able to put things behind him, as your earlier report. He has that ability to do this.
Elliott has a first down. If the Ducks can't stop number 15, it may not matter as much for Jones.
Well, yeah, I mean, what do you do? Here's LeBron watching the game.
He knows. No matter what the sport is, turnovers are killer.
That's right. But
I try to stay positive. We're still winning the game.
That's right. Always. But, hey, Chris, you talked about what do you do if you're Jones, if you're Tom Herman, how do you settle down? Obviously, you get Elliott more established. You try to run the football. Oregon knows that. They want to try to take that away. There's Tom Herman, who'll be off to Houston tomorrow to become the head coach.
Empty backfield and a first down throw. Thomas into Ducks territory at the 45. That was a nice dart from Jones.
It sure was, and it's great spacing. A nice throwing lane here for Jones. Tight end Vanette takes the linebacker with him, just opened it up, made it very easy for Jones to throw in rhythm. One of his favorite targets, as we've seen in recent weeks, Michael Thomas, who's going to go out.
Top of the screen is Devin Smith, who has just that one catch, but it was the big one for 45 yards. Elliott motions out and gets the swing pass. Cannot get away from Eric Dargan.
They motion him out, trying to outflank this Oregon defense, but really good recognition and speed by Eric Dargan, who had a great Rose Bowl game. Coleman trying to get off his block. A poor effort by Devin Smith, but an outstanding job in space against Elliott by Eric Dargan. I really feel that Dargan, Tony Washington, these guys have become leaders for this defense, especially with Ifo Ekpre-Olumu out. Hardrick, Washington, Dargan, Derek Malone, tremendous leadership from some seniors.
Dontre Wilson into the game now. He motions across, but it's Elliott again, exploding up the middle, 10 more yards.
There's that same play. Watch Nick Vanette coming around, picks up the linebacker, Joe Walker. Boom, right there. Elliott gets underneath that block. This is something at Ohio State it's become their bread and butter tonight. A counter trap where they bring the H-back or the tight end back to pick up a linebacker or a nose guard. That time it was the linebacker Walker, and it's been springing Elliott all night.
Woody Hayes days, 3 yards in a cloud of dust for the Buckeyes. This is about 10 yards and rubber pellets off the field for Elliott. 3rd and 1. Zeke has it again, and he's got another first down inside the 35.
Yeah, but this Oregon defense, they're getting a push on the short yardage situations on 3rd and 4th down. It's been very challenging for the Ohio State offensive line. As good as they've looked on 1st and 2nd down, they get into 3rd and short. and the line of scrimmage is going backwards. That time, that was Elliott's just raw power and effort to pick up that first down.
Curtis Samuel spelling Elliott is behind Jones. Cardale wanted to take a shot downfield. It was covered, so he dumps it down to the freshman who gains 8.
And again, that's what he's been coached to do in this game against this kind of defense. Oregon does a good job of taking away a lot of the receivers downfield, and they want to test your patience. They that time dropped 7 defenders in zone, took away all of his options downfield, so he just checked it down. Remember, the check down and using his feet are his 2 weapons against that type of defense.
So how about, Kirk, the poise and execution for Jones on this drive right off the fumble. There's that push again.
They get in the short yardage, and it's a combination of Oregon pinning their ears and shooting gaps and getting off of blocks, and Ohio State not being able to get any footing up there. See that push right there? He's now Pat Elflein, who's on 1st and 10, opening things up. That time, a really good job by Oregon of pushing him backwards. Linebackers are fighting downhill, and the defensive line's holding their spot. There's Buckner out on a crucial 3rd down.
And on one knee, gasping for air. That's what Oregon typically does to an opponent's defensive line. Jones takes off and muscles down for another first down. It's tough to stop a 250-pounder going straight ahead.
Well, they did it. Oregon does a good job of, again, trying to confuse him. Keep an eye on the nose guard. Watch him push and then drop. You see him right there? He's taking away the throw that Cardale Jones wanted to make. So instead of throwing it into his chest, he comes off of it and decides, again, the feet or the check down. This time, it's the feet for the first down.
Not many quarterbacks are overpowering a 310-pound nose guard, though. Valducci got knocked backwards. Jones fires a low throw. It's caught by Marshall.
Billy Price pulling around trying to pick up a block, but these 2 outside linebackers, these backups, Christian French and also Prebo, 86, maybe their best edge pass rusher, doing a pretty good job of mixing up who's coming and who's dropping.
Final minute now of the 3rd quarter as the Buckeyes are getting close to the red zone. So enormous whether or not they get 7 or 3 out of this drive. Elliott cuts it back and bursts down inside the 10, 1st and goal. Another huge game, approaching 200 yards.
And Billy Price, the left guard, and Jeff Hireman, the tight end, pulling around again. And the patience from Zeke Elliott on these runs and the vision are the reason he's able to pop through there. And again, of course, he has outstanding quickness and acceleration for his size.
Overshadowed throughout the Big Ten season by Melvin Gordon and so many other good backs, but this guy has come on very strong in the last half of the season. He's got it again. Elliott! Touchdown, Ohio State on the final play of the quarter.
Plays, 75 yards, 6 minutes and 39 seconds. He follows now the right guard and the tight end. The same exact play, opens it up, and there's Zeke Elliott getting to that 2nd level and showing the strength to get into the end zone.
And that's atone for a couple mistakes as an offense and reclaim some momentum. Number 8 will be down 8 heading to the final quarter in Arlington. Back after these messages, you are watching the College Football Playoff National Championship game presented by AT&T. Buckeyes back on top by 8 now as we begin the final quarter of the first playoff national championship game, and a third straight 200-yard game for Ezekiel Elliott, a sophomore out of St. Louis.
We were talking at the break there. It's amazing to think that Carlos Hyde, who now plays for the 49ers, was a starting running back and had a huge year last year for Ohio State. 4 offensive linemen, 3 of which started this past weekend in a playoff game.
As rookies.
As rookies. That's what they lost. And Braxton Miller, who went over 1,000 yards rushing. They lost all of that and came into this year, and Zeke Elliott has emerged as one of the greatest individual rushing seasons in Ohio State football history. And that's saying something.
It sure is. Clemson again booting it to that left corner, and this is Nelson at the goal line. Knocked down across the 20. So the Mariota family, younger brother Matt, his folks looking on nervously. A lot of faith in their son and a quarter to work with, but Oregon's defense is the bigger concern for their team right now.
Yeah, you're right. I look at the family and the parents of Marcus, and I think whatever you did, can you pass that on to the rest of us that are trying to parent? Marcus is one of the most quality young men I've ever met.
And Mariota steps up, fires across the middle, caught by Keenan Lowe to the 42-yard line. The emotion shown by Mariota as the first Hawaiian-born Heisman winner. Won a lot of fans that day in New York, didn't he?
He sure did.
Freeman, he struggled. The freshman didn't have a great Rose Bowl and showed some hesitation there, Kurt.
I think Ohio State set the edge to this defense. I really think this drive is a signature moment for Marcus Mariota in the season that he has had, the numbers that he's put up, but now in the national championship in the 4th quarter, down 8. This is an opportunity to really add to his legacy.
And he delivers. Tipped, broken up beautifully as Lee, the linebacker, prevented a completion to a streaking Stanford.
I think Darren Lee is probably the one player on the Ohio State defense that's improved the most. Often blitzes, they ask him for versatility, sitting back also in coverage.
They play fast on 3rd down, and Mariota delivers. Incomplete. Again, he was trying to work the far sideline to Marshall. Armani Reeves in coverage, 4th down.
That all goes back to that 2nd down play, the play by Darren Lee. Because if you get Oregon to 3rd down and long, they're not built for that. Their system is just not built. They're built on deception and play action. You get them back in 3rd and 10 when you know they're going to throw. It's a completely different situation and very challenging. As good as Mariota is, it's more about the scheme.
Seen a lot more of Elon Wheeler than we usually do in an Oregon game. Hunter moves Marshall over to the 21, takes it on the run, and is dropped right there. And now falls back on Ezekiel Elliott and an Ohio State offense to protect an 8-point lead. Going back a decade, Kirk, Ohio State has been perfect in these situations. 98-0, an 8-point lead in the 4th quarter. This is Jalen Marshall on the end around. Good 1st down game. That Ducks defensive line was so active early, but the big guys, DeForest Buckner, Eric Armstead, 290-pounders, Armstead, they seem to be wearing down in this.
Yeah, it's been a battle up front. And you're right, early in this game, Armstead, who's coming off now, he was dominant the first few series, but he and Buckner with their size, both around 6'7", 6'8", 290, but they have not had that same effect.
Elliott cuts it back, gallops free across the 40, another 1st down. Ezekiel Elliott has been on a 3-game run. It's in large part while Cardale Jones has been so successful at quarterback. 230, a Sugar Bowl record against the Crimson Tide, that 85-yarder, longest run against a Saban defense ever. And now 215 more, and he could be headed for a 300-yard game.
He could. He's averaging about 9 yards a carry. And that last drive, boy, it was the offensive line and Elliott that really took him down the field.
There's a 1st down throw and a completion. Thomas Tiptoeing, still alive, and now knocked out at the 36. Ducks claim he stepped out near midfield. But the Buckeyes are rolling again.
A nice adjustment. What Ohio State's saying to Oregon, if you're going to drop a lot of people, we're going to throw the ball underneath.
You skidded to a stop.
He did. He sure did. He stayed in bounds. But they're, instead of trying to always get it downfield, now they're giving something for Oregon to have to be concerned about with the underneath throw. That tightens up the coverage. Then you have a better chance, if you need it, to try to get behind them.
Corey Smith, the receiver, motions back, and they hand it to him, and Smith around the left end. Another explosive play. That last one, 23 yards, Kirk.
At that time, Zeke Elliott blocking.
He's not afraid to do that. He actually has a passion about blocking.
I know. They actually, the coaches, when you talk to him about his greatest strength, they'll say how physical he is without the ball is one of the first things they bring up.
He's got the ball. He's well strung out by the Oregon defense and knocked down after a short gain. 3rd and 4 now. And we'll spot it back. It'll be 5 yards the Buckeyes need here. They can begin to work the clock just a little bit as they try to pound away in the Ducks.
It's still a one-possession game. Big drive for Oregon and their defense to stay in this football game and give Mariota some hope to try to get back in and be in a position to tie the game.
On 3rd down, an empty backfield, and Jones has all kinds of time and delivers to Marshall. 1st down near the 10.
Two things. The offensive line doing a great job of giving him time. They only rushed 3, which means there's 8. Look how tight those windows are. The patience by Cardale Jones to sit and wait for eventually that window and Marshall to settle down in it perfectly on another 3rd down conversion.
Back in the red zone. So they get 19 yards on that 3rd down play. Elliott still out, and Samuel to the left of Jones. And they give it to the freshman from Brooklyn, who's also a physical runner, down to the 5.
A true freshman who Urban Meyer in camp right away recognized his potential. He feels that he'll be one of the better backs that he's seen in a long, long time. But right now with Elliott, who's only a sophomore, may have to wait his turn.
16 yards per carry in high school for Curtis Samuel. But yeah, Zeke's back in there in 2nd and 5. Again, not the cleanest snap by Jones, but Elliott able to dive forward for a 1st and goal, or it's close. Let's see where they spot it here.
Yeah. Well, that's Ohio State's 34th play in the 2nd half. Oregon has run 10 in the 2nd half.
Hit them hard and see how they fall. Never let that team get the ball. Right out of the fight song, Kirk. That's the game plan.
That's the offense. That's what we're watching.
And 1st and goal. Elliott again barrels in.
And it's Elliott behind that offensive line. Gets in for another touchdown. His 3rd of the night.
76-yard touchdown drive in 9 plays. After the Ducks and Mariota had closed it to a 1-point game. Back-to-back long touchdown marches by Ohio State. Lead back to 15 with 9:44 to play. Pure muscle in scarlet and gray.
This is Urban Meyer trying to get the kickoff coverage team ready to go.
Aren't they always ready to go?
Yeah,
just pride and joy.
Yeah, look at him though.
Have you ever seen anybody practice with more detail, situations, and kickoff coverage?
No. He prides himself in special teams, always has.
Red zone, Kirk, you said it was going to be perhaps the deciding factor. Buckeyes, 4 trips, 4 touchdowns. Ducks, 4 trips, 1 touchdown. 2 field goals and a loss of downs. Nelson fakes it to Marshall, and he faked at Ohio State. A flag comes in as the freshman is still running. So Ohio State bought the fake handoff to Marshall, but a flag may nullify the big return.
During the return, holding number 33 of the receiving team, 10 yards from the spot of the foul, first down.
You know, if you're Marcus Mariota and you're Oregon, with the potential of what their offense can do, we mentioned typically they'll score in a lot of times under 2 minutes, under 3 minutes. So you're down 15, 2 possessions, 9:32 to go. You got a quarterback that's as good as we've seen in a long time, even though it hasn't been their night, especially up front. They've got to try to still believe a quick strike gets him right back in this game.
Mariota trying to escape. Slides down across the 15.
I think that's a fair point. I think they were really on a mission to play with a chip on their shoulder against Alabama. They had heard so much about the SEC and Alabama and Nick Saban that when they won, they had that breakthrough moment. It was very euphoric for them. It's been impressive to see them get back down to earth 11 days later.
I was in Columbus last week. I just had my doubts that they could go 60 minutes and have a full fuel tank. But yeah, I think they have. Huge blow delivered on Tyner over there.
I think a lot of people have looked at Ohio State and look at them as a big, slow, methodical team. If you've watched them play the last few weeks against teams that have a perception of being fast, Grant lowering the boom there on Tyner, I think they've not only looked good, they've looked very, very athletic.
3rd and 11. Mariota far side. Another pass out of a Duck receiver's hands. That was Stanford who just made the tough one that was nullified by penalty. Duran Grant defending again. 4th and 11. Ducks clearly have to make their final stand right here. Mariota, high throw incomplete. A defense sent out on the field after 4 turnovers by the Ohio State offense has limited the Ducks to 20 points. An offense that had scored 42 at least in all 9 of their wins since the Arizona loss. What a job by those guys right there.
No doubt about it. The defensive line, a big night. They knew they'd be tested. They knew they'd be challenged against the tempo. Great job by Luke Fickell, Chris Ash, rotating guys early in the game to try to maintain their strength, their agility, durability for 4 quarters. I think that defensive line was the difference on the Ohio State defense throughout the game.
1st and goal. Elliott. Twisting, fighting. Didn't get there. Fickell coaches the linebackers as well, Kirk. One of the most improved units on this defense. They've really struggled in recent years, but not this group this year.
No, not at all. He's a former Ohio State player. He started 4 years at nose guard. So I don't think anybody bleeds scarlet and gray more than Luke Fickell. So I'm sure it's a big night for him and a big year for him. You can see he's usually tries to be very calm, but right now he's letting some of his emotions out. Probably been pinned up for over 12 months.
It's the Buckeyes who've run off 83 plays, and as you see, DeForest Buckner, the stud defensive end for Oregon, limping off the field. They just wore down that group up front, beat them up, and Elliott had lots of room to run. Another career high, 245 yards. See if they let him pay it off with another touchdown here. could run the play clock way down if they want to. Elliott dodged the eye of this national championship win. OH, and they'll fill in the rest.
No doubt about it.
Wow. What a 3-game run for this team, for this quarterback,
and for that running
back.
Fourth touchdown of the night. And that offensive line and Ed Warner, I just cannot believe that group and the way they improved. That is remarkable.
A year away? No, I don't think so. Ohio State will be the first champs of this new era. Urban Meyer will win his third. LeBron knows championships. Cardale Jones has a great smile.
No
What a
doubt
journey!
about it.
What a journey from the very, very dangerous streets in Cleveland. There are alums all over the world. There's parties all over the world.
On that campus right now, they're a little giddy.
As the kickoff comes down, Meyer not able to escape the Gatorade bath over there. Six and 7 is Ohio State's one-loss record the year before Urban Meyer took over.
Sanctions the first year. 12-0, couldn't go to the postseason.
And for Mark Helfrich, just the 4th loss in his 2-year career. Ducks will come short for a second time at the ultimate hurdle. Close loss to Auburn. More lopsided loss here. It'll be a challenge for that team and that man with Marcus Mariota, we presume, moving on big time.
Yep. They got a lot of guys back except at that spot.
Mariota to Marshall. And he's knocked down. It was Marshall who made that electrifying 70-yard catch that sparked the Ducks rally. But Ohio State always had the answer, and usually it was number 15.
We knew coming in he was going to be the key. Again, because of the way Oregon plays defensively, they put so much of an emphasis on playing zone that you just knew that Elliott would have opportunities and the line would be able to open up some running lanes for him, and it ended up proving itself out really these last 3 games now.
Keenan Lowe can't come up with that low throw, and we're down to 8 seconds.
Shelly Meyer, Urban's wife, giving Elliott a well-deserved hug.
Never would have had a chance into the old system to show how good a football team they are. What a year for the Big Ten. We've all beaten up the Big Ten, and then Jim Delaney said there's been reason to. What a strong last month for this conference.
Yeah, January 1st
for these guys.
Yep.
Mariota escapes. This will be the final play of the game. Heaves it, and it's not fitting. It ends with an interception. And the Ohio State Buckeyes are the first national champions of the playoff era. Still shooting the confetti into the air. And in this blizzard, the Buckeyes are national champions. Urban Meyer for a third time to Tom Rinaldi.
Chris, thank you very much. Urban, you labeled your pursuit of a championship the chase. Tonight, where's it taking you?
The chase is complete. It's done. It's over. They accepted their final mission, their final assignment, and their final directive, and they did it. That was our whole mantra this entire last couple weeks. Job well done, and we're very grateful. Thanks.
We tried to chronicle it, but how would you describe what this team overcame this season?
One of the great stories in college football history of closeness, of team, of selflessness and strain. And this will go down as one of the great stories in college football history.
How do you define what Ezekiel Elliott and Cardale Jones gave you tonight?
And our defense. Our defense taught to slow down that guy down. That guy is one of the best players in America. And we tackled well. We had 4 turnovers, and we still have a 22-point win. That's a heck of a football team. We're in scarlet and gray.
What does the moment mean to you?
It's a life changer, man. I'm just so happy. I want to share with the guys I love, and I love these guys.
Congratulations, Urban. You earned it.
Thanks, Tom.
Chris.
Stress and health issues knocked him out of coaching with us, his colleagues at ESPN, for a year, but he hungered to get back in. Ohio State was the job, the most attractive job that could lure him back in. Paul Bryant with his 6 titles. Leahy, McKay, Saban, of course, with 4 at 2 different schools. And now Urban Meyer joining the 3 titles club, like Saban, doing it at 2 different schools. Very, very exclusive club for a man who's still just 50 years old. Time now to hand out the hardware on a very big stage at center field. We go to John Saunders.
Well, Chris, not exactly big enough to get the entire team on this stage here. It's a little pandemonium. First, congratulations to the Oregon Ducks on a great season. And with me now to present the championship trophy of the College Football Playoff. The inaugural is Bill Hancock, Executive Director of the College Football Playoff. Bill.
Thank you, John. First, I want to congratulate both of these fine teams for a great effort tonight and all during the season. And now on behalf of the conferences and schools that manage this awesome new event, it's my honor to present the first College Football Playoff National Championship trophy to Coach Urban Meyer and the Ohio State Buckeyes.
Yes, sir.
I'm just getting out of the way.
Urban, congratulations once again. You're third, but you're first with the Ohio State Buckeyes. What do you have to say to the faithful who have come here to this great stadium to watch you guys win a championship?
Well, we play football for a lot of reasons. We play it for the great state of Ohio. We play it for an incredible university, The Ohio State University. But most importantly, we play it for each other. This is one of the closest teams in college football history. We play it for each other.
Yes, sir. They say you never forget your first. Well, this is your third, but it's the first of a college football playoff. Does that make it that much more sweet to you?
It sure does, and I can't imagine a better group of people to share this with. It's college football history. Our hats off to the College Football Playoff Committee. Everything was so first class, and these guys can know that for the rest of their lives, they're part of history, winning the first college football playoff national title.
Partner, it's been a great run this year. We finished where we began in the opening game. It's been a great ride. Thanks to all of our tremendous, talented, dedicated crew bringing you these games, this great coverage all year long. Bill Bonnell, the producer, Derek Mobley, the director, the help in the booth here from Darren Brown, Ohio State graduate, Mike Black, Mark Amento, Dave Kataya, and our entire family here of dedicated, talented production folks. A game that had more drama than the final score might indicate, pulled away late and physically closed out the Oregon Ducks.